welcome everybody. This is the Croft Roundtable discussion today, and our people are very literal, and they actually got a roundtable for us in this discussion. But what we're going to be talking about today is natural gas powered fracking. And the people that we have, I want to make the introductions. I'm Cameron Croft. I'm CEO of Croft Production Systems, and then we have our CTO, our Chief Technology Officer, Chris Smithson, joining us today, and then our Senior Technician, Caleb Goutner. So what we're going to be doing, we're just going to be talking, going through it, and then ultimate thing I'm going to try to do is get a rise out of one of y'all. That is my side agenda today. But what we're going to first do, discuss with is, why is the industry going to be fracking?
So I think there's a big push for efficiency, and the as technology advances, they're getting able to get more power out of these new frac fleets. Either fully natural gas powered, or the new systems that are e-frac, that have electric motors driving the pumps. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to those: sound reduction, fuel costs, and as things change, things get more advanced.
Size of the location is a lot smaller on this e-fracking. It's the efficiency, like Chris says, goes way up, and it's just easier sometimes.
Yeah, I got to make me sound a little bit smarter in my questions, I had to do a little bit of research. I didn't give y'all time to do any research. I kind of did this impromptu with y'all. But the CEO of Baker Hughes, Lorenzo Simonelli, he was talking about the e-fracs are alleviating several limiting factors of the operator: pressure pumping, such as diesel, truck logistics, excess gas handling, carbon emissions, and reliability of the pressure pumping operation. So for them, he's Baker Hughes, that's what he's been selling, marketing, and pushing for, and that's what he's seeing in the industry. Y'all agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, with our natural gas systems powering the frac systems, I mean, they don't need fuel trucks driving around. You're not delivering all that. I mean, we have our unit to do the gas cleanup going directly, piped into the trailers, so they have, all the pumps have all the fuel that they want directly. You don't have guys dragging hoses around trying to top them off. So there's a lot of simplicity there. And then, diesel, replacing diesel with natural gas, and there's huge emission savings with that. So big benefits.
Emission savings and on the pocketbook too, because that diesel, and the turbine pumps that sometimes we power with our natural gas, they use $100,000 within a couple days of diesel. So it gets up there.
All right, so then everyone's kind of pushing towards that, but what are the changes that y'all see with e-fracking right now, or the variations of e-fracking? It could be the dual fuel, getting up to that level. So what are the changes that y'all are seeing?
Well, I think it started with dual fuel, being able to supplement the diesel with the natural gas, or cutting it back on diesel costs. And those are just conversions on the traditional pump engines. So, I think you can get up to maybe 50% displacement on those. So you're getting rid of half of your diesel usage by bringing in natural gas. And with the price difference with natural gas versus diesel, there's a big savings there. But that doesn't change, like Caleb was talking about, the number of pumps. So, you still have a bunch of pumps, 2,000, 3,000 horsepower range versus like one of these new trailers is like 5,000 horsepower pumps, and it's able to replace, 2 pumps with one trailer. So, there's big benefits in that, in going to the newer trailers, newer designs, it just completely reduce, a lot of that manpower requirements and trailers on location.
So again, to make me sound smarter, I did research on that. So the CEO of Halliburton, I like what he said, Jeff Miller. He was talking, he broke it up into 3 major components for fracking. First is power, the second is the pump itself that delivers the frac, and the third is making the return. So all 3 of those matter, and right now the power piece is what causes all of that costs for the service company itself. So out of the 3 big components that he said power is the number one thing that would be done to focus on driving down the cost. So they were going into it, and then the CNX CEO said on a quarter call that they went to 100% electric fleet, translated to fuel savings of $180,000 per well. That's what he did on a call. So I guess the big push on that, the change for the e-fracking, is the constant evolution of getting the cost down, getting the logistics where it needs to be. So where does Croft fit in with the e-fracking?
So we condition the natural gas to be able to be used in these systems that either have natural gas generators, so either multiple engines powering multiple pumps, or one very large generator that powers multiple electric pumps, or direct natural gas powered systems that have the pump. The engine for the pump is driven solely on natural gas. So we take that field gas and clean it up. So CNG and LNG are options for bringing in fuel, but those can be very expensive. LNG is harder to source, but you just make trailers for it. CNG, you're going to bring in a lot of trailers to power a full frac fleet, and that can be a lot of logistics issues with that. And then the gas is just going to be more expensive. But if you can tap into the field and get gas that these producers are already making, that they can just turn around and peel off the pipeline and send directly into their systems, and there's a huge cost savings by being able to use that direct field gas.
And coming straight off the well too. We've had a couple sites where we've come straight off the well and the pipeline, either or.
All right, so I guess it's all about power, the fuel source coming in to power to get to the frac where it needs to be for the pump to go down hole. What locations do we have? What experience do we have in that? I mean, do we just focus on one side, or have we?
We've definitely focused on both dual fuel and 100% natural gas. Well, we've also had a site that has partial e-frac, where we're supplying, like Chris was saying, enough fuel for the generators for the e-frac, and then the dual fuel locations. We've definitely had a few of those with Comanche and other companies, and that's about all I can remember. About 40 different locations that I've been on site for sure.
Which ones do you like?
It's a toss-up. There's benefits to dual fuel. You can always switch back to diesel. So if you do have any field issues, the CNG and LNG are a stable fuel. You know exactly what you're getting when that shows up. Same thing with diesel. You know exactly what you're getting. Field gas, there's variables with that. Depending on where you're pulling the gas from, we can condition a wide range of gases. But what's coming in, it can be super rich Permian or South Texas Eagle Ford stuff, or real clean Haynesville or Pennsylvania. We can take that range of gas, but you never know what the pipeline's going to send you, or what the well's going to kick. If you're pulling directly out the wellhead off of one of the wells on the same pad, you don't know what you're going to get. If operator upset issues or something, it can create problems with it. So dual fuel's nice because you always can just switch over. When you are the single source of gas, and there's considerations that you want to take in, that where's that gas coming from? Have you partnered with people that understand natural gas very well? They can help you with the risk mitigation of using that field gas, because it's not created equal. And if our clients, that they're just used to a very consistent type of fuel, and then they try to start pulling field gas, and there's some quirks to it that it's good to know beforehand.
Well, how do we get into it? If we didn't just dive straight into it, that'd be a huge capital investment. And then where do we cut our teeth on?
So we started with drilling rigs, dual fueling drilling rigs years ago, and putting out our fuel gas systems, which were originally developed for compressor stations, powering, cleaning up the gas for compressor fuel gas, to cleaning up the gas to using dual fuel engines for generators for the drilling rigs. So that was, a great cost savings for clients. It was a great use for fuel gas, smaller units, great diesel displacement, big cost savings. It was very consistent because the drilling rigs are kind of constantly going all the time. Getting into the dual fuel fracs brought up the volumes that we're looking at. Instead of like 500,000 a day, now we're looking at like 2,500 MCF a day, kind of rates with the dual fuel, but you still have the safety of being able to switch back to diesel. And then, as these Z fleets got bigger, and people go into just one giant turbine powering electric frac fleets, or multiple generators, or direct drive natural gas, and then the volumes go a lot higher. So we've kind of just been developing this over the years, but it's still the same equipment we use with our normal natural gas processing. It's still the same things we're used to. I mean, our whole thing is getting it to pipeline spec. And fuel gas quality pipeline spec is pretty similar, so it's definitely within something that's we're used to.
What's the best puzzle that you like about it? Like if you were getting it, a client comes in, this is what we got. I mean, what gets your gears going as an engineer?
I don't know. What do you like to hear from them?
I like to hear that huge volume that's going to be running through our trailers. Because getting into the small stuff is pretty easy to do, right? But that big stuff, the big volumes, the rocking and rolling, the high dollar machinery, that's what I like to see. That's what I like to hear.
So do I. It's there's been a couple of times where the clients are coming in and they're talking about the scenarios that they're about to go. They're hitting us with the gas analysis, and then I see you kind of getting a little into it. You're like, all right, we need this and this, and let's add that and figure out those components.
Like that last location that had sour gas.
Yeah,
That sort of threw a wrench, but it was an easy wrench to deal with.
Yeah, because we're familiar with it. So, like, H2S can be a very big problem. Luckily, the levels were low enough. It was a simple fix for us. We have the equipment. We know what we're doing with that. But for a client, they hear H2S, and all they've had is their safety trainings to tell them it'll immediately kill them. So, it can be a big wrench thrown in the middle of it when you never had to deal with it.
Impurity, but it's a safety issue also.
Yeah. So, but hearing that and being able to just quickly add an addition that solves that problem for them with minimal cost on there. I think in 2 hours we had a system up and running that was taking care of that for them. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, why do we want to be in the market? For this, why are y'all driven to want to do this? It's a giant puzzle, and it's about solving the puzzle. But why are y'all so interested in it?
I think because there's not a whole lot of companies out there that are doing it. So we're sort of one of the only companies out there that are really putting our necks out on this big stuff. At least that's what I see. I don't see a lot of people really conditioning the gas the way we do, and then conditioning the gas for dual fuel, 100% natural gas and e-frac. That's what I like.
You just want to be different.
I want to be different.
I get it.
Yeah, we do have competitors. But they do take a different route to it. Some of those trailers that we compete against are some of the most advanced pieces of equipment I've ever seen rolled out into the field. But do you need that? We've always taken it as, how are we going to most cost effectively get the results for the client?
Right.
Do they need a refrigeration system on a trailer that needs its own generator to power that system? All this, do they need a 24-hour operator to operate this equipment? That when we can get it done with something that we only have to come by once a month, once a week to maintain, or we can train on-site operators for. Our goal is always, the most cost-effective solution for the client.
Mm-hmm.
Not the best, not the most advanced. I'd love to be rolling out some of these things that look like they're made in a spaceship factory, but
sometimes the budgets that you're asking for is the same thing. So, but in breaking it down, go ahead.
Well, that's the other thing is there was a location that had the state-of-the-art spaceship trailer that just wasn't cutting it, and so they still had to keep us on site, keep our 60-inch PDS vessel on site, just because their trailer wasn't cutting it to dehydrate.
Yeah, the simplicity of our operations. Mm-hmm. That's the main goal. We want to minimize as much operator involvement.
Yep.
If we could keep Caleb out there 24/7, we could bill.
Believe me,
we could get some great billables out from that. If we had to have somebody out there constantly all the time, but that's not what we want. Mm-hmm. That's not what we want to give our client. We could charge them 8 times as much.
That's right.
And babysit the thing for them, but when we could give them the solution that's going to work just fine for them.
Well, on the fracking side, you've been over 40 plus, right?
Oh yeah.
Just on the fracking side. So what do you see as operational or the things that is beneficial to have out there?
So, the biggest benefit is having good hard workers. That's where it really starts. Now, after you get your good hard workers, your power plants is all the key, right? Power plants and then efficiency. Those are the two hand-in-hand, power and efficiency. If a pump goes down and they don't have a staged pump to replace it with, then you're losing efficiency, you're losing money, the clients are. On our side, as far as it's concerned, getting the trailer ready and testing all the systems before fracking is ready, that's where we come in. And that's where 9 times out of 10, we're ready before they're ready to pump.
Communication with the field team, their field team too. That really helps. Knowing what we're going to show up to, and being able to have that good rapport with the client, those guys on site that are the ones actually messing with the equipment, that having where they can just call you and ask questions, and they're not just waiting for it to break.
Well, I like the break part is I guess there's a sense of reliability, because once you're going, you're not stopping. You're going until it's done, right? So
That's right.
Yeah.
reliability is key. Like you said, having the correct personnel, communications, the equipment reliability needs to be out there. So with that, I mean, what do y'all feel like the next steps are for us, for Croft, for the industry? What are the demands or problems that y'all are seeing from the clients that we're taking the next steps on?
I mean, I think we, as we get more into these frac units, we're going to see bigger volumes. I mean, when they're trying to power more things on site with that gas, trying to displace as much diesel as they possibly can. We're seeing the sand systems and other systems are electrifying or converting to natural gas as well, and so that's increasing that demand on site. So, we have some pretty big systems developed that are on, in the field actively working. We're about to put some smaller mobile systems out as well. So I mean, I think, just developing that further and getting those solutions into the field.
Well, so I guess kind of helping wrap up a little bit. So they talked about power as being the major component of cost. So if you're looking at power, we're doing the natural gas conditioning for that power. Now, to get to the natural gas, to the purity levels of what we need to get to the power the source, to the frac, what are y'all seeing as the contaminants that most hit us, that we need to focus?
I think a big problem is availability of pressure. And, having a gas source at a high enough pressure to be able to condition. The lower the pressure of the gas, the bigger all the equipment's going to be, the processing equipment, and you're more limited in what you can actually do to it. So, typically we want to source the highest pressure source we can get it from the field to be able to condition the way that we want to. I mean, if you're on the Permian and you have super rich gas, 1600 BTU, and it's only 150 PSI, we're going to need to boost that pressure to be able to treat that gas effectively enough to use for these systems. I mean, our big thing is, with real rich gas, you have hydrocarbon dew point issues. You have the possibility of liquids making it to these engines. These are gas engines. They're designed to run on gas. That's all that should be showing up to them. So you have a lot of risk in pulling rich field gas with liquids showing up where they're not supposed to. And having the right inlet parameters helps us to really make sure that that's not going to be a concern.
Now, advising on, I guess going back to reliability, what do you see on location as a key thing for reliability? I know we got pre-checklists, we got those kind of after the stages are done checklists, but during your checklist and stuff, what are the things that you see as I guess kind of advice that you would give?
Reliability drain lines. That's probably one of the big things that I try to get customers to understand, that, if all of our unit filters and separators are all dumping at the same time, dumping into 1-2 inch line, it's not very reliable. Then also, we have a low pressure filter on our trailers that 300 pounds is about how it runs. The rest of the drain lines are anywhere from 900 to 1150 PSI. So once they drop in there, back flushing into that low pressure is, even with a check valve, it can happen. Check valves do happen, do break sometimes. But as far as our reliability on our trailer, they're fairly efficient, fairly reliable. You're doubling up on your filters, big 60-inch passing D high, autonomous. Everything's, for the most part, can run on its own. You just need a tech to come by and check it every once an hour or once a stage. That's their key. Now, reliability also is all our pressure sensors and all our data that we have, because the equipment we have right now for our high-end frac jobs has so much data available for it that you don't even really need to go by there and check it if you can read all your data.
Yeah, and I think I mean, even with the cleanest source of gas, there's still the risk of an upset, of a water slug, of something happening, a bunch of particulates, some pipeline maintenance issue. And then this wonderfully clean, nearly 100% methane, ready to go to your house gas that you've been expecting is now, a giant slug of water. So just being prepared for that. I think anybody trying to pull field gas for use in a generator, even down to the smallest, well site generator or something, they need to be prepared for, what could potentially happen. And yeah, like Caleb was saying, I mean, it doesn't matter how big of a separator you put ahead of the system. If everything ties to 1 2-inch drain line, it doesn't really matter. There's only so much you can dump through that. So, preparing for contingencies and understanding that what the gas you're getting today may not be the gas you're always getting.
No, I like that. So, I mean, that is the questions I have. Is there anything else that you wanted to wrap up on or advice that you would like to give?
No, I'm excited for the industry, moving to this. It's some of the, it's a chance for us to get to see some of the latest and greatest equipment in the oil field. These advanced e-fleets and these new frac, 100% natural gas frac spreads. I mean, they're amazing pieces of machinery, and it's just cool that we get to be part of that, giving them the fuel that they need to run.
Well, it's a lot of moving pieces. That's what I like about it. I like all the supply chain. I like the complexity about it. I like seeing, I know when you're tired, but I like seeing when I call you, you're so excited, you're on location, you're giving advice, you're consulting, you're doing your thing. So it's fun to see. It's fun to see that passion about it. It's just the next level, right? Well, that's all I have for the Croft Roundtable discussion on natural gas powered fracking. So please tune in next time. We're going to be doing this on a regular basis and talking about other products and industry changes. So thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.